Welcome. It's so good to see everybody. I'm so glad to have you. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I have a special guest, Brother Ric Mathis. Ric is an extraordinary film director. He is one of the great film directors in our community, and he has partnered with us to create a black-owned film industry. Now, you guys know we've talked about black folks owning our own movies and creating content that really comes from the community. We're not talking about movies that are connected to Hollywood and all this other stuff that are backed by Hollywood with their agenda. We're talking about movies that have the black agenda, meaning that basically black first, that we matter the most. And so we have spent years working on a project called B1 the Movie. And I know you're going to love this project. It's going to be released in the summer of 2023. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome my good brother, Ric Mathis. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How you doing, Dr. Watkins?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. And I want to let everybody know, shout out the city you're from. And I want to say hello to Yolanda Baker out of Wichita, Kansas. Gregory Bowers, Melanated Rich Combo says, let's go, Doc. All right, I'm ready to go, man. You got me pumped up. I'm ready to go. Gregory Burns, I'm with it. Gregory's with it. I'll go to battle with him any day of the week. Nicole Nobles, Gloria Shelton, so good to see you. Shout out the city you're from and let us know where you're coming in from. And B1 to everybody in here. So let's get started. Let's just talk about this, man. This is a blackbuster summer, right? I'm sure there's like an Avengers movie coming out. There's always one of those, and maybe eventually another Creed movie and all this other stuff that's out here, and that's all good stuff. But this is our stuff, right? This is what we own. We're creating this, and you and I got together and talked probably almost 3 years ago now about this project called B1 the Movie, where we wanted to bring in some of our blackbuster stars, some of the people that we admire, not the Hollywood types, but the people that are really out here doing the work, really connected to the community, and literally make a film for the ages that is black financed, black owned, black distributed, bliggity black, B1 black. That's a special brand of black. So tell me about this project, man, because I know you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. Just go ahead, brother.
Man, B1 the movie is, like you said, it's a blockbuster. Just to kind of share the synopsis with you all, man. And first off, I want to start by saying thank you, Dr. Watkins, for trusting in me with B1 the movie. There's a big movement with B1 the movie, and it's like, with B1, with the B1 movement. So to create the movie around that movement, was very near and dear to me, man. So I definitely want to take my hat off, man, and tell you thanks for partnering with me on this project. But to just kind of share the synopsis with you all on what B1 the movie is. The current economic crisis has opened the eyes of Black people in America and put emphasis on the fact that we must get on code and put our needs first. Dr. Boyce Watkins and filmmaker Ric Mathis examines the state of the Black community with this intriguing question. What is it going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first? And I just kind of want to pose that to the people. Like, what do you think? And y'all can put it in the comment. It's going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first. Like, what is it going to take?
Well, this film is powerful because we've got some of the most intriguing individuals in our community. I'm talking about revolutionary leaders who are getting work done. Let's start at the top of the list. Dr. Claud Anderson. Dr. Anderson agreed to be in the film, and I'm glad Dr. Anderson was in the film because Dr. Claude he's the OG of all this. Without this, a lot of Anderson, I think it's very important that Black people we create our own heroes. So what in terms of what role a Dr. Anderson might play in the future of our community or the development of industry that we need as Black people? What are your thoughts on Dr. Anderson, Ric?
Man, I think like you said, he is the gentleman in the film. He's the hero in the film. He in the film he talks about race and how the term race came about, stating that it was a race to get to America. Because when you think of ethnicity, no other country uses the term race to describe an ethnicity. And I thought that was really powerful. So in the film, he really walks you through that how race came about, the term race, and racism. So it's a powerful segment with him. That's in episode 3, and we have 5 episodes that we've created. But Dr. Claude Anderson really like digs in on that, man, and just kind of knocks it out the park in that segment. So I would say he's the giant, man. He's really the icon of this project of this B1 film.
Well, I feel like Dr. Anderson, people like him are the thing I think black people have to understand is that there's a reason why Dr. Anderson is not a part of mainstream media. It's because the revolution really won't be televised. CNN is not going to be interested in hearing about black people truly becoming independent enough that we're not leaning on this Democrat Republican nonsense. We're not sort of waiting on Superman. That we're actually doing it on our own. And in fact, just this week, Rick, they invited Joe Biden up to speak at Howard University, and some of the
I
black
saw that.
people were pissed. Yeah, they were mad as hell. They were like, "Wait a minute, you're inviting guys like him. He's the king of mass incarceration, but yet Dr. Claude Anderson's lived in D.C. right down the street from Howard University for decades, and they've never had him in there." And in fact, another rebel that we had in this film is this brother here, Rizza Islam. And
Mhm.
Rizza is a guy that, during the pandemic, for example, he was put on some sort of most wanted list, most something list, right? Where
Yeah.
he was so committed to serving his people in his way. And I stood by Rizza the whole pandemic. I didn't care. I said, you know what? I'm sure you're gonna start surveying me because I'm kicking it with this guy, but I'm never going to leave the side of this brother because I think that you've got people in the community that will go to war for you. And I think black folks have to really understand that. Like instead of looking up to some rapper that don't give a damn about you, or some actor that's gonna go marry a white woman, why not look up to the people in your community that are gonna be there for you when it really goes down? So tell me about that in terms of how you were putting together this film and going through all the different people that were in the film. I mean, I can keep going down the list. Queen Afua and Nuri Muhammad, Speech from Arrested Development, Jay Morrison, Julian Gordon, Dr. Anna Brown, Ash Cash, Vicki Dillard, etc. How did you go about sort of crafting the message of the film?
Man, so when you have like we interviewed over, I would say 40, 45 people for this film. That's a lot of people. And we wanted to highlight the people that were really making headways and really had a voice in the community. So the way that I went about crafting the film, I wanted to, if you have a pie, I want to slice that pie and have a conversation on the things that are very important in our community. Everything from the music to the imagery in the films to social media to the children's education, health, relationships, black businesses. So I wanted to have a conversation around all of those things to where you had our greatest minds, our greatest voices speaking on those things. So when I thought about it, I kind of thought about it as you remember the song "We Are the World," where they combine like all like the voices of that. I think that was in the '80s where they just chimed in. We are the world, and everybody had a voice in this particular song. So I kind of thought about it like that and approached it in that manner where each person would have their niche. So of course, Queen of Four would have her niche where she talks about health. Mama Peel shares a great story about how she met Dr. Thaby, you know, and how he told her, she was sick. He looked at her and he knew that she was sick, by looking in her eyes. So it's a powerful story in that.
Mm.
So it's so many powerful stories, in this film. We're in the age of storytelling. So I really wanted to hone in on some of those iconic stories, if you will, from these iconic people in our community so that this could be etched in stone and we can have this and share with the kids, our kids, and say these were the people that we were looking at when the pandemic broke and all of these things, these economic crisis was going on. with the dollar, because I feel that we're in a very pivotal time right now when things are being disrupted. So we need to document this time so that we can share, with our kids, what was going on and who were our thought leaders in this particular age.
Yeah, and I think that's important, right? When you talk about this film, and the film, by the way, everybody, is called B1 the movie, and we're going to release it this summer. This film was important for me to participate in because I have the students in the Black Business School read a book called How the Jews Invented Hollywood, an Empire of Their Own, and I don't think, and it's not anti-Semitic or anything like that. I don't have time to be hating people for it. But there is so much that we can all learn in terms of how you develop industries, right? You've got a whole entertainment industry full of people that are just begging for jobs, begging for opportunities, begging white folks to do this and do that for them, and it's very sad because it's crazy when you have your most so allegedly most so-called most powerful that have no power. How is it that your most powerful black people in Hollywood don't have a lot of power? Well, it's a lot of it's because of the line of thinking. If you're not thinking in terms of ownership and control and developing industry as opposed to simply trying to get in where you fit in, then you're never going to be able to really have the ability to shape your own destiny. So this film, we made this movie, y'all, because I've told you all about the importance of us developing a black-owned film industry, and no talented guy like that. But I know it took a lot of partners to do that. It took a lot of putting on Medea dresses to get that done. And God bless him for what he accomplished and what he's doing with that. There's nothing, no hatred, nothing like that. But I said, let's see what the community can do. Let's see what we can do when we really represent ourselves in the best way and really have something that is really going to lay a foundation where our people will stand tall and proud, independent. We could piss off anybody and still be okay. And that's what this film, I think, represents. And these were the individuals that I consider to be my movie stars: the Vicki Dillards, the Dr. Claud Anderson, Rizza Islam, Nuri Muhammad, Queen Afua, Jay Morrison, Julian Gordon, D1, right? Like these are people that are the leaders in our space. So now you said you interviewed 45 people for the film.
Yeah, it was around 40 something people.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see on this list, I see about maybe 14. Is there like anywhere I get exhaustive list of everybody at some point? Because I want to see, I'd like to see that whole list because I want people to know how much work you put into this. Because it wasn't no simple project.
No, it definitely was not. Let's see. This is a more extensive list here. I'm going to share this list with you in the email.
Okay.
And but yeah, we put in we put in over 2,500 editing hours on this project, like over 2,500. Because I locked in. I heard a musician say, when you lose somebody close to you, get busy creating, because at that time, your heart is open. Your heart is soft. So as you'll see in the film, I lost my mom during the production of this film. So at that time, I buried myself in this project, and I allowed the ancestors to just kind of speak through me. My mom being one, and this was my therapy. You know what I mean? If I didn't have this and I couldn't channel this energy into this project, I don't know how that energy may have gone. I don't know what, I would have done, but I'm just glad that I had something to channel my energy in. So I would work on this project 12 hours, 16 hours a day sometimes. And I heard John Singleton say when he was creating Boys in the Hood, that's a hood classic, right? So when he was creating Boys in the Hood, he edited that film at USC. So while he was editing that film, he said that he had moments in the film where he cried. He had moments when he was editing this film where he was up yelling and getting excited and jumping around, And so when I look at B1, we have those same elements in this film. As I edited this film, I have one of the desks that you can raise and lower, because as an editor, you sit a lot. So sometimes you need to stand up. And as I'm editing, I'm feeling these, these words and what people are saying, and they're having an effect on me. So I'm just allowing this, boom, putting all of this energy back into the project. So those are some of the experiences that I had in the process of creating this film, and applying myself and committing to those, those 2,500 hours that went into making this film. And you'll see a piece of the trailer, the opening, which is about a 4-minute clip that Dr. Bush is going to play, where you'll see some of that. You'll see the movements, you'll see the B-roll. And if you're an editor or a filmmaker, when you have that timeline and you have all of those minute clips and B-roll and this and effects, I was going to get a T-shirt with all of that on it, to show that. But I mean, you see the amount of detail and the amount of work and effort that goes into a project like this. So this was definitely a labor of love, and my wish is that when people watch this, they feel the emotion and they feel the love and the expressions that went into creating this project.
By the way, everybody, if you just came in, I'm speaking with director Ric Mathis, and he is the director of an awesome blackbuster film called B1 the Movie. B1 the Movie is going to be released this summer. It stars a lot of the stars from our community, from our space, from the B1 space, including people like Dr. Claud Anderson, Rizza Islam, Queen Afua, Nuri Muhammad, Speech from Arrested Development, Jay Morrison, Julian Gordon, Dr. Ona Brown, Ash Cash, Vicki Dillard, David Rand, D1, etc. And we made this movie for y'all. We did this because we believe that we should have our own movie industry. We believe in fact, we also have some developments in the music industry too. We haven't talked about it much, but there is Victory Boyd's father, Victory Boyd, and her family. They are developing artists out in Detroit that are B1 artists that we love, that mainstream media will never adopt, like Akila Nihonda. Akila Nihonda is too much of a strong black woman for them to, and I say strong black woman in the best possible sense. I know that's a mixed term, but she's strong and intelligent and capable, and she's a damn good rapper. So, John Boyd, the father of Victory, is using his connection with Rock Nation to set up meetings and opportunities for artists like Akila. So it's getting done, y'all. We're making this happen,
Yes.
and we're not just up here talking. We're actually getting things done. And so if everybody could please take 1 second, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. Hit all those buttons so that we can be connected. Also, a quick reminder, I'll be in Dallas on May 19th for Black Wealth Summit. So if you'd like to join us for the Black Wealth Summit and 2-day training camp, join us. Just go to boycewatkins.com and you can get all the information there. And you can check out all the stuff we have going on in the Black Business School. So let me, before we show the clip of the film, I want to kind of talk quickly about some of the individuals that are in the film. And I guess I'd be curious to know if you have like maybe one about that individual in terms of what it felt, in terms of what they contributed from an artistic standpoint. So give me 1 second. I'll make sure I hit the right button. I'm going to share my screen here. And the first image is my buddy, a great artist named D1. D1 is at Harvard University right now. A lot of people don't know that, but everybody should know that. He's there because he uses hip hop to educate children. He was a school teacher that chose to become a rapper because he saw how hip hop affects our children. Give me a yes if y'all understand that. Give me a yes if you understand how culture and music affects our kids. D1 is a one-man army against that. That's what he calls himself, and he's fighting against that. So D was in the film. What were your thoughts about D in terms of what he did in the film?
Man, D1. So he shares this story in the film. Again, we have stories. My whole thing was to create a collage of stories. So he shares a story in the film where he was signed to this major record label, and he's sitting in the office with one of the promotion reps. And so the promotion rep is on the phone calling, play this record, play this record, play this record. So he said the promotion rep hangs up the phone and he looks at D1 and says, I hate that record. I'm just doing this because this is my job. But I don't really like that record. And D1 was like, wow, so it's stories like that are shared in the film. The young lady you was just talking about, Akila, she shares in the film how the story of how uh, when she was coming up, how you had different choices of of music versus just that one negative kind of music. Now, we had the Erica Badu's, the Jill Scotts, the Lauryn Hills. We had a variety of music to choose from, along with the Little Kim and the Foxy Brown and all of that. So she talks about that, and she really highlights that, in the music section of the film. So it's stories like that that are just like, wow, when you see it, when you watch the film, you can literally watch this film over and over and get something new from it every time you watch it. It's just that layered and just that packed with information and energy. Mhm.
Mm. Okay, so another person that's in the film is this brother Ash Cash. What are your thoughts on
Mhm.
Ash Cash? That's the homie right there.
Hey, Ash Cash is the homie for real. So in the trailer, so Ash Cash was like, if you know Ash Cash, his energy is always up here on like 10.
Yes.
And he got the New York accent. So Ash Cash had he shot the show The Vault, in the studio, in our studio. So if you know him, his energy is way up here. So I used to literally be on set, with Ash Cash all the time while he was shooting in The Vault. But his energy is like he's like the Buster Rhymes of the film, if you will. Like he
Mm.
just brings this electrifying energy, which you'll see in the trailer. He's featured in the trailer that we're about to show. He brings this electrifying energy that's like through the roof, man. So I definitely appreciate what Ash Cash had to offer, as well as his wife. We feature her as well in the film. So she's an
Mm.
author,
Okay.
and she's an
Nice.
author of the kids book. So
Okay. What about this woman, Dr. Anna Brown?
Ona Brown, that's a dear friend of mine. That's Les Brown's daughter, by the way. So she's a motivational speaker. So in the film, she shares how she travels the world doing these motivational panels, right? If you will. But the irony in all of this is most of the time, the majority of her audience is white or people of other ethnicity. So she shares a
Mm.
story as one time, I think she was in London, and this lady came up to her and she says, I'm going to buy your books. I'm going to buy your information. But we have to create our own on a Brown. You do understand, right? And
Mm.
Oda was like, yes, I understand. And I appreciate
Wow.
you, for being real and sharing that with me. So at the end of the day, it's no secret. Other races are putting their race first. So the question again is, what is it going to take for us to put our race first and be unapologetic about it?
Right. Right. Well,
And
I
that's
ain't
the
apologize.
Yeah, that's the question that is repeatedly asked in the film. But we also offer solutions. It's not a film where, we're beating our people up. We're doing this in love because at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to take love. And we share that and express that in the film with a surprise ending. Like the ending is amazing. When you see the ending, you're going to be like, wow. I mean, it's like literally when I watch the ending of this film, I literally get goosebumps every time I watch the ending of this film. Like,
Mm.
no joke.
Okay.
I can hear it.
Speak about this young lady, Miss Vicki
Oh
Dillard.
man,
She's
Vicki Dillard.
yeah. There's only one Vicki Dillard.
Look, Vicki Dillard is the black pastor in this film. She is the evangelist in this film. So what Vicki Dillard, she shares this story in episode 4 about trauma. And she
Mm.
simply asked the question, what do you say to a group of people who has gone through their kids being fed to alligators, their
Mm.
their husband being tied to horses and blocked and bodies literally pulled apart? Like she goes through this series, and when I tell you, she goes for about 2 or 3 minutes of this series of things What do you say to a group of people that has been through this, but yet it's still we're still standing and we're still on their heels? You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? She started with the Holocaust. You know, we know about the Jewish Holocaust and we know about all of that. But what about the Black Holocaust?
mm,
And
right
she
on.
walks you through that. I'm telling you, she's the Black evangelist of the film, man. She's like, ah, she
Yeah,
and
Vicki Dillard is
again,
one of
it's
a
a
kind.
story. Yeah, it's a story. And now Julian Gordon, oh my gosh. So again, so in episode 2, because again, we have 5 episodes. Each episode ranges from about 10 minutes to 20 something minutes. And the great thing about this film is you can literally watch one episode, have a discussion around that episode, or go through the curriculum. We're actually creating a curriculum that's going to parallel the film. So we're taking comments that were said in the film and things that parallel the film, and we're creating exercises. So you'll actually be able to go through and have exercises that you can go and you can journal and write your diary. Like it's a whole thing that we're doing. But Julian Gordon, right? So Julian Gordon is really highlighted in episode 2, the social media part of episode 2. And what he talks about in the film is how he fasts from social media, but not only does he fast, he curates his feed by what he likes, by what he follows, by what he shares, and how long he watches a video. So he literally walks you through these particular things that we may not be, aware of when we're doing, but we're actually curating our feed when we do these things. Everything from liking, from sharing, to watching a video to the end. Like all of these things really curate your feed. So, he said, he uses the example with George Floyd. Like you may say, okay, I don't want to see George Floyd, but if you're watching that video to the end, or you're sharing that video, or you're liking that video, then guess what? You're curating your feed. So that's something to think about. So again, when you watch the film, it's
Mm-hmm.
so highlights. This is like the film is like, Coming to America, where you have all those classic lines with Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
and Arsenio Hall and Samuel Jackson. This is the Coming to America of documentaries. Like there's so many
Wow.
classic lines in the film. Like when you watch it, it's so many classic lines. You're gonna be like, wow. And
Wow.
I give you another one real quick. And this is like one of the funny parts of the film, right? So Madam President in the film, she says, we're talking about the music, and we're talking about using, the word bitch and hoe in the film, excuse my French. But
Mhm.
she says in the film, there's Madam President. She says in the film, what if Jesus would have said, go down there and heal that nigga? Go down there and heal. What if Jesus would have said that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about that for a minute.
Man, man, I think that's powerful. I'm just sitting here looking at the different people that are in the film, and you sent me the longer list because when you sent me the list, I saw the shorter list. And I said, wait a minute, I know we had a whole lot more people in there that
That's the
that really
abbreviated
are
list.
making the difference in the community. Yeah, and I want to make sure I'm gonna try to invite them all in here and have panels and everything because the thing about it is these are our black leaders, in my opinion. I mean, I do think that we should have a leader in every house in terms of public figures that everybody should follow. Oh, can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. I think that these are the people that we need to listen and pay attention to. And I'm gonna quickly read down the list, and then after I finish reading the list, says everybody please hit the thumbs up button, follow, share, subscribe. This is Ric Mathis. He's the director of our new movie. It's called B1 the Movie. It's coming out this summer. We are not going to release it till then. We're not going to put it on Netflix. We're not trying to go and peddle it to Hollywood. We have our own distribution network, and that distribution network, it's not NBC, it's not ABC, it's not CBS, it's not ESPN. It's called YOU. It's called YOU. It's called WE. It's called US. You, we, us. We are our distribution platform. So I'd like for everybody, if you could, in the chat, let us know that you plan to not just watch the film when you can, but also you will share, tell everybody about this. We are building what is going to become a $1 trillion film distribution industry in the Black community. We have studied how the Jews invented Hollywood. There's a whole book called An Empire of Their Own, and how people in the Jewish community, God bless them. Again, I'm not even saying any of this on any sort of anti-Semitic rant at all, but God bless them. They created, in that book, they talk about how a few Eastern European Jews who were being discriminated against, who couldn't get opportunities, they couldn't get a seat at the table. They started building tables. They were building tables. So they created Universal Studios. They created, Warner Brothers. They went and created 21st Century Fox. They created the William Morris Agency. They created everything that they wanted to create, and they had less money than us. They didn't have, between all these people in this film, we probably got 10 million followers on various social media channels. They didn't have 10 million followers when they were creating MGM, right? So we have more than what they have. We get all the degrees. We done went to college, and you don't get all the fancy letters behind your name. We have the internet. We have the ability to connect unlike any time before. So it's time to create a solid Black-owned, B1-owned film industry. And that's what we're developing now. And we're doing it out loud. I'm going to read some of the names real quick, and then we'll show the clip of the film. The names on this list Rick sent me: Ash Cash, Akila Nihanda, Dr. Alicia Watkins, Bernard Hardy. Blue Pill is in the film. Shout out to Blue Pill. Some guy named Boyce Watkins. I don't know why y'all want him in the movie, but hey, I'm glad he was there. Caden, a 10-year-old entrepreneur, brilliant young child. Chike Akua. I don't know if it's
Chike Akua. Dr. Chike
Akua. Did I say it right? Okay, Dr. Chike Akua. He's at he teaches Clark. Yeah. I spoke for the brothers class. Give him my best. I really enjoyed that experience. And I like his open-mindedness, by the way. Christopher Emmanuel, China Bethany, Constance Carter from the Fly Nubian Money Network, David Wren, D1, one of the best rappers alive, Dr. Claud Anderson, Giselle Martin, who is a child and who's an extraordinary young actress who's already starring in all these movies now, Jade Arendelle, who was working with Tariq Nasheed on his conference. Shout out to Tariq. Shout out to his whole crew. We love them. Jay Morrison, who created the Black House. Let's see, who else is in here? Jay Ortiz, extraordinary rapper out of California. Jeff Lightsey Jr., who is becoming one of the leading HBCU sports commentators in this country. Jewel Tankard. Julian Gordon, who just today, I had Julian right before you and I spoke, Rick. Julian just announced that they've helped create a $250 million worth of Black-owned real estate. They literally have helped Black families acquire $250 million worth of real estate. How many? Give me a yes or no. How many of y'all know a single celebrity? Any celebrity, you name one, pick whoever you want. Oprah on down. How many of those people can say that we helped the Black community acquire $250 million in real estate? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do y'all understand how significant that is? This is real work. This is what you call getting it done. And I want you all to know about this. Let's keep going. I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to get through this list. Jedediah, Keisha. There's not a last name. Does Keisha have a last name, or is it just Keisha?
Keisha and Jedediah, that's the Black love story. I didn't get their last name.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Oh, well, Keisha. Black love. You can't do nothing without Black love. King Randall, a 23-year-old kid, started a school down in Georgia. King Randall, my man. He served his country in the military, came back to his community, started a school for boys, got it off the ground, getting work done. Didn't take 10 years to start the damn school. He started school in a few months. That's called getting it done. King Randall, one of the most solid brothers I've ever met. I love that guy. We made a donation. My wife and I, as soon as we saw his school, I called him up and I said, I don't know you, but I'm gonna give you a few $1,000s to support what you're doing, and I'm gonna go public and give you a shout out, because this is the kind of work that needs. We need the executioners in the community. He's an executioner. Let's keep going. A few more names. Lene Javette, who is now Dr. Lene Javette, who is an expert on Black women and entrepreneurship. I worked with Lene for years. She's extraordinary. Lawrence Watkins happens to be my brother. He's actually working on a multi-billion-dollar project out in Tulsa. I can't talk much about it, but believe me, they got big things going. What else? Mama Pill, Mary Dean Esquire, an extraordinary attorney. Brother Nuri Muhammad. Nothing to say about Nuri except, my Lord, that's a powerful Black man. Queen Afua, she helps us heal as Black people. We need healing. Let's keep going. Rizza Islam, one of the bravest Black men in America. Raheem Shabazz, excellent filmmaker, excellent brother. I love Raheem. Madam President, aka Chanel Walker, one of the leading Black female voices in this country. Speech from Arrested Development, who made that documentary, The N-Word Factory, one of the best documentaries out here. I encourage everybody to watch it. I'm not going to say the N-word because I'm on YouTube and they act funny when you do that, but it's such a good documentary. I had speech on here. I love this guy. Last but not least, we got Vicki Dillard. So we got a star-studded cast, Rick. Like, I feel like in our space, this is like having a movie. This is like white people making a movie that has like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and whoever the most famous white people on America. I don't keep up with the list anymore, but it's like literally having like, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Like this is big, man. This is an amazing project you did. And tell me your mama's name, man. Her name needs to be at the top of this list.
So Gwen Lewis. So I actually started a foundation for it. So you'll see that in the film, and people can donate as well to the Gwen Lewis Foundation. But her name is Miss Gwendolyn Lewis. You actually like that part of the film in the opening. Again, that's another part of the film that just like gives me goosebumps, man.
Well, you know what? Well, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to cut you. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Shout out to Miss Gwendolyn Lewis, and I get it, man. I totally get it, and I think it's awesome that you dedicate this film to your mother. And when I heard the story, that was further inspiration for me, because I'm thinking how nice it would be for her to be in heaven to be able to see us put this movie in front of 1 million people. Right. And we're going to do that. Yeah. We will cement her legacy on every level. We will elevate our people with this film. This project is going to be, I'm personally going to be talking about it for the next couple of years. So y'all gonna get tired of hearing me talk about this movie.
I don't think they're gonna get tired, Doc, because I mean and I say this humbly, and I have people kind of my warm circle that hey, what you think about this? What you think about that? And they're like, Rick, like when people see this, when they see this film, they're gonna be like, it's gonna really change lives. Like it's gonna really have a powerful impact. Like yeah. So
wow.
And I say that humbly, but my mom actually had a chance to see one of the scenes that I put in the film, and she said, I don't know if you remember when there was a riot in downtown Atlanta. I'm based in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember that.
So there was when they were burning up cop cars. So we actually, myself, Raheem, and some other filmmakers was down there getting footage of what was going on. So we got real-time footage of the rioters or the protesters setting one of the Atlanta cop cars on fire. So I had that in the film. And she was like, take that out of the film. We got enough of that. Don't put that in the film. And this was she was sick. So I was like, wow. Let me so y'all won't see that. That's on the cutting room floor. But man, I don't know if you all are familiar with the ancestral mathematics, but we really highlight that in the film, and if you're not familiar with it, it really just says if you go back just 12 generations, it took 4,094 ancestors to create the person you are today. 4,094 ancestors. That's mind blowing, right? So
Yes.
all of that is in our DNA. All of that is within us. And that's what it takes to create us, just going back 12 generations.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So give me a yes in the chat if you are ready to see the first ever showing of B1 the movie. This is a clip Rick sent over to me. It's a 4-minute clip. Give me a yes if you're ready to see it. Also, I'd like for your help to make sure the audio is coming through. I want to make sure I do justice with the film by sharing the audio properly. So give me a yes after I start playing it to let me know you can hear it. Just say a loud and clear, Doc, or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and play. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pull this up on the screen so we can kind of enjoy this all together. And yeah, this is a Black-owned movie, so y'all should be proud. This is ours. We did this. We all did this together. So let me see. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. Rick, I'm gonna minimize you and I and take us off the screen. And this is on YouTube, so I'm gonna try to not quite make it totally full screen, but wide enough where it spreads out across the screen. And here we go. Let me turn up the volume and give me a yes, everybody, if you can hear it. And actually, what I'm gonna do is even mute myself right now, and I'm gonna mute Rick so that there's no potential audio feedback. So let me know if you can hear. So here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this right.
For years, Black people have been taught to put other races first. But how would our community look when we establish a code of conduct that puts Black people first?
Your family is your natural economic gang, and everybody should be affiliated. There should be a code of conduct. Everybody has to be on the same page. If you cannot get everybody on the same code, then you cannot win.
All races have an unspoken code of conduct, from Chinese to Japanese, to Mexican to European. Even the KKK has a code of conduct that they operate under.
They raise money for Kyle Rittenhouse. They raise money for George Zimmerman. They stuck to their code to ensure that, hey, I got you. If we're following the rules of the system, we're already off code. The system was never designed nor set up for us to be successful.
What is it going to take for Black people to establish a code of conduct that puts Black people first?
No Chinese person, no Latino, no Arab, no Jew, no white man has ever had to be asked such a question.
The first thing that we have to have is a code, and that code has to be a patronymic code because we are Black. And if we look at the Constitution, that is a patronymic code that we can follow, but not actually use because that's someone else's code of conduct and code of building wealth and prosperity that is able to be passed through heirship for generations and for perpetuity.
But 99% of all the Blacks in the country, whether they got an education from college or not, they don't know what the Constitution is all about. The Constitution was the first affirmative action plan in the United States, and it was written strictly and solely for white folk. That's why in the Constitution, 1 up to 12 is for white people. In those 12 amendments, he'll be talking about things like using very broad and ambiguous terms so that Black folk can never figure out what the Constitution was about.
But what if we established a Black Constitution that puts Black people first and is built on the principles of love, respect, and unity?
If Black people put Black people first, then we will take the planet back. That's the fact.
We have already survived the Middle Passage. We have survived the crack epidemic. We have survived mass incarceration. We have survived all type of experiments. And here we are still standing. Being Black is being resilient. That is the code. It's embedded in our DNA.
Like that's the blood that's in your veins. When you know that, and you know Mansa Musa was the richest person ever. When you understand that, and you understand where you come from, and you understand that anything is possible, you will understand that abundance is your birthright, right? Stop resisting you're resisting your greatness. Stop resisting your greatness. You're great. And once you understand that, and you understand your greatness, right? I am greatness on display.
Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Yes, it is. Black is beautiful. You can feel it up and it comfortable up in my own skin. Hey, this one's for the melanin. This one's for the melanin. Everyone who holds the element.
Sorry, great job, man. Great job, Rick. Great
Hey,
job.
thanks, man.
Additional round of applause for Rick and his hard work and putting this film together. And that's just a piece of it. I have seen so much of this movie, and I can tell you all, it is extremely good. It is going to blow your mind. And so you know, one thing you and I were talking about possibly doing something at Juneteenth in Atlanta. And I guess maybe that might be the place where we could consider releasing it, or also, of course, at the All Black National Convention. I think, you know, forming panels around the topics in the film and stuff like that would be a lot of fun, because there's so much there. And I want to let everybody know, and Rick, I'd like to get your thoughts on some of this, because you were responsible for shaping the structure of the film. And you broke the film into pieces, easily digestible pieces. And so the first piece is getting on code. What does that mean? To put Black people first, which is very important, right? Because we serve everybody else except ourselves. We were raised to do that. We're trained to go and work for white people. We're trained to go and spend money with other people's communities, right? Number two, what role does the media play in Black people putting Black people first? So there's a conversation about media. Well, you know, there's no such thing as just entertainment. And that's where I think I'm very happy, you know, people like my wife were participating, because she's an expert on the subconscious mind. And she says that this music, what it does to the subconscious mind is crazy, because it makes the kids unproductive before they even become adults, for some of them. Number three, why do other races feel threatened when Black people simply talk about putting Black people first? I think that's a great question. Why? Well, because they feel that they own us, they have a claim to us, you know, almost like parents claiming children. And so when we say, no, we're here for us, not for you, then of course that's going to cause a problem, because anytime in history when one country is able to extract resources from another country and exploit that other country, if that country declares independence, there's going to be a war. There's going to be a fight. When China told the Europeans, you're not going to keep on selling your opium in China, well, that created the opium wars, right? So effectively, you know, we've been on that dope for a long time. Now we are declaring independence just like China did before it became a superpower. And that's going to mean that people are going to be upset with us. A war is going to ensue as a result of that. Number four, is it racist for Black people to put Black people first? Well, you know, Black love ain't got nothing to do with white hatred. I think we all know that. We all give me a yes in the chat if you agree. Number five is, what is it going to take for Black people to put our children first, our health first, and our relationships first? So you're talking about the Black love, revolutionary, foundational, important for us to survive. I mean, if Black men and Black women can't even be attracted to each other, can't even get together and raise children together, then what future does the community have? If we're not respecting the mothers and the important role they have in the community, we're not respecting the fathers and the role that they play, believing that kids don't need a father, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I think it's like taking us back to who we are. So Rick, I know I just said a lot. So what do you think about some of this, and what was your thought process in shaping the pieces to this film?
Wow. I mean, again, my approach to producing this film was to dissect the things that are readily affecting the Black community. So when you dissect those things, the number one thing, and George Frazier, Dr. George Frazier, who was at the conference last year, he says this in the film. In the music session, he says, we changed as Black people when our music changed. When we start using the N word and we started using the B word, we changed. Just think about that for a minute, because the music penetrates you on a subconscious level that you're not even aware of. You know what I'm saying? So he shares this story in the film about how he was flying from Cleveland, which he lives in Cleveland, to Los Angeles. And that's a 4-hour flight. So on the plane, this kid, may have been 24, 25, is listening to this music for 4 hours. And the way if you know Dr. George Frazier, he's an eloquent speaker, so you know how he tells the story. So the way he tells his story and the illustrations and the pictures that he creates in your mind as he's telling this story is amazing. But we change, if you think about that for a minute, Doc, we changed when our music changed. The music changed in the late 80s with NWA and Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. That's when it went to the N word and it went to disrespecting the Black woman. Because prior to that, we were singing about love. You know what I'm saying? We was thinking about James Brown, I'm Black and I'm proud. Say it loud. You know what I'm saying? We had Michael Jackson singing about Billie Jean and, you know what I'm saying, Beat It and dancing and all that. Those were the songs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But now, when you look at the music has become so detrimental that right here in Atlanta, we have Young Thug on trial for a song that, he's on trial because of the lyrics of a song that he wrote. Literally sitting behind bars, and has been behind bars for about a year now because of some lyrics that he wrote. So that just shows you how powerful and how music motivates you to do certain things. And if you look at our history, we learn through music. Like, they know how we learn and how we behave. If you look at the griots in Africa, that's how stories and traditions were passed down, by forming a circle and singing these songs and sharing these stories. That penetrates your subconscious mind and it's embedded there. It's tattooed there. That's how powerful this music is. So you got to really be careful what you're listening to.
Well, I think that's a great point, man. We changed when the music changed, and that was something. When you said that was a notable quotable, and I can't. We got to make a full list, man, of everybody that's in this film, because George Frazier is he's a movie star in himself, right? So I sent you a little text saying, man, I want to make sure every single person that contributed to the project gets recognized. You know what I mean? Because George is he's another OG, another legend, another guy that has really put it on the line for Black folks, and in fact, when I met him, years ago, I met him about the same time I met Dr. Claud Anderson. And I remember kind of just, you just don't know about people, it's like, okay, who's this light-skinned Negro with the oily hair, whatever, you don't know. Right. And I'm gonna tell you, he got up there and he really spoke some really strong pro-Black stuff. We got on the phone a few years later, and I was vetting him out, trying to figure out what kind of man he is, and I was so impressed. I love this guy. I have so much respect for him. He has so much wisdom, and he's again. I want y'all to understand, these are your movie stars. Not these. I know I've been in both spaces. I've been in Hollywood and I've been in the hood, and I can tell you, the Hollywood types name what they cracked up to be. Some of them they want to be white. Some of them own drugs. Some of them hate you. And I've sat on the phone with some of them and said, I don't want to talk to you anymore because your brain is in the wrong place. But you feel like you're special because white people gave you money to act like a buffoon, whereas you've got people out here in our community who possess the real kind of intelligence that can solve real problems. And of course, they're going to be ignored. Of course, they're not going to be celebrated in mainstream media. You look at what King Randall's doing with that school down south. Ain't no reason why this man he should have $1 billion budget for his schools. He should have every nickel. Instead, in Chicago, pay attention, y'all. They have 55 public schools in the city of Chicago without one single child that can read or do math at grade level. Do you think that if they gave King Randall, if they took the money from those failing schools and gave this money to King Randall, do you think that he would have that problem? Do you think that King Randall would run a school where every single child can't even read or write or do math at grade level? Seriously. They want you stupid. They want to destroy you. They want to see you behind. So King Randall's my hero. He's a young brother, but I have so much appreciation for what he's doing. Constance Carter, creating millionaires in real estate. I mean, y'all stuck in this go to school, get a job BS that puts you in student loan debt for life. You die with a negative net worth. Game over. You work yourself into a ground so that a white man can get rich. Constance Carter is breaking the code. Her children work in her family business. All her children are on track to be millionaires just like their mama. That's why I rock with Constance. And she ain't scared to be black. This is a great black woman. These are your Harriet Tubmans. These are your Nat Turners. These are your leaders in the community. These are bigger than your Barack Obamas. Stop looking at Negroes on TV and thinking that these are the people you should admire. The people that you need to look up to are the people that we chose for this movie. Madam President, out of Chicago, father was killed at 13 years old. She is a heavyweight in Hollywood. She's the only person I know who has worked at Tyler Perry Studios, Ava DuVernay Studio, Oprah Winfrey Network, worked on 50 Cent show Power, whichever one it was, and is extremely creative and capable and loves the hell out of black people. Let's keep going. Akilah Nihonda, baddest rapper since Tupac, right up there. I would put her pound for pound as an artist with Biggie, Pac, or anybody else. I love her music that much. She represents the spirit of the Lauryn Hills, the artists that they killed so they can replace you with women who are popping coochie in your face, rapping about how juicy their wop is, just literally teaching your little girls how to be hoes by the second grade, and you look up to that nonsense. No, Akilah Nihonda is a black woman that makes all of us proud because she's raising her daughter properly. She loves her husband. She has integrity. She's not going to sell out for $1. And guess what, y'all? John Boyd, the father of Victory Boyd, helped me set up a meeting between Akilah and the people at Rock Nation. So this is what's going on. This is what's happening. D1. See, I can keep going. I'm going to stop. I got to slow down because these people I'm so passionate in terms of how I admire these people. I mean, I ain't talking about D1 sitting up at Harvard. He's a brilliant artist, made several albums. He's the only artist I know anywhere who got offered a chance to sign with Cash Money Records with Lil Wayne and Drake and Baby and all of them and told them no. See, you got black people out here that won't sell their soul for $1. So all they really need is they need us to step up for them, man. They're going to battle for you. Go to battle for them. I need you to throw away all of your little fake superheroes in Hollywood. All these people, these propped up Negroes that are propped up by the Hollywood agenda, that are propped up by white supremacists, that are propped up by the Democratic Party, and realize these are not your friends. The people that I just showed you, and I could keep going down the list. I mean, I could keep on going with all these individuals. I ain't even really scratched the surface, to be honest with you. But these are the people that have your back. So can I at least get a yes confirmation in the chat that we're going to start becoming conscious about who we choose as our leaders, who we choose as our heroes? Are we going to look at some guy on TV, or are we going to give more attention to a person like Dr. Claud Anderson, who's been fighting for your black butt for the last 50 years? We got to grow out of that. It's extremely important. I'm done talking, Rick. I'm going to let you get the last word. Where do we go from here with this?
Wow, man. So again, the name of the film is B1 the Movie. You can follow us at B1 the Movie, and we'll be on Juneteenth in Atlanta. Juneteenth, Atlanta has one of the biggest Juneteenth celebrations. Shout out to Bob Johnson and his team that assembles this experience. Last year they had about 50,000 people. This year they're expecting over 100,000 people because, of course, it's a national holiday, so now everybody is kind of jumping on board, and you can see it reflected in the sponsors. Yes, sponsors for everybody from the A-list radio stations to the news stations to all kind of brands that are sponsoring this year's Juneteenth. So what's going to take place there in Atlanta, in the heart of Atlanta, as a matter of fact, at Centennial Park, is where this experience happens. We're going to show a segment from each episode. Again, there's 5 episodes, starting with, asking the question, what is it going to take for Black people to start putting Black people first? It's going to take us getting on code, number one. That's one thing that it's going to take. Episode 2 deals with, again, entertainment. It deals with music, film, social media. So it deals with, all of those media outlets. So episode 3 deals with race. It deals with the word racism and how was a race to get to America. Episode 4 deals with, and again, episode 3 is, why do other races feel threatened when Black people talk about putting Black people first? Because again, we were their platform, as Dr. Claud Anderson so eloquently says in the film. Episode 4 really deals with self-worth, self-preservation, and self-love. Like, it's going to take those things. You know what I'm saying? Those are the key elements, the key ingredients. So we're going to show a segment from that episode. And then episode 5 is, what is it going to take to put our children first, which is education, which we talk about Project 2070, the Black Core 3, which, is elements or projects that Dr. Watkins has. So we talk about those things, and then we go to health, which is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, health really should have been at the front, but I think music is has a little bit more effect, than the health. And then the last thing is relationships. We talk about relationships. So, and we have this surprise ending that's just going to really blow you away at the end of the film. But you're going to be like, wow, that's beautiful. This is really what it's about. This is what B1 is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about Black love. Put love first. It's going to take you loving yourself enough to put your health first, to put your relationships first, to put media first, to know what you're allowing your children to listen to, know what you're allowing, yourself to listen to. So that's what it's going to take. So on June 17th, we're going to show a segment of each one of those episodes. And then we're going to follow up. Now, I hadn't talked to you about this, Doc, but I think we should probably do the premiere in Chicago, as well as do it online simultaneous. You know what I'm saying? So the people that are around the globe, who can't make the in-person screening, they can watch it online at the same time we're screening it in Chicago, in your hometown where you live. So I hadn't talked to you about that, but I think that would be pretty dope. And then from there, we'll have it on all the major platforms and you can watch it. But we really, really need you all to get behind this project, to go to B1, the movie, on Instagram, on TikTok, because we're going to disperse a lot of information about, things that we'll be doing around the film. Because again, there's a curriculum that goes with this film, as well as we're going to have experiences. We're going to have the B1 experiences where we may just show one episode and have an entire event around that episode. So you're on mute. You're on mute, Doc.
Sorry, give me one. Sorry about that. All right, so everybody who wants to follow the film and keep up with the progress of us developing a Black-owned film industry, you can go to B1 the Movie on Instagram or TikTok. And also, this is Ric Mathis, so everybody should follow him. Your social media, Rick, it's at Ric Mathis.
At Ric Mathis, yes. Okay, and it's RIC, Rick without the K, RIC.
Okay, so everybody follow Rick at Ric Mathis so you can kind of know what Rick's got going on. And also, and Rick, give me that full list of everybody that's in the movie when you get a chance, because we didn't mention Professor James Small. Like you sent me a message about that. Yeah, I mean, these are giants, right? These are giants, and I think it's very important that all these individuals, we really give them their flowers, and as this industry grows, we ensure that their legacies are growing with it, because these are the people that fought for you, when a lot of people wouldn't. So here's just some images of some of the individuals in the film that and this isn't even everybody that's in there. and I know you guys are going to love it. I literally said to myself, I said, who are the superstars of the Black community? Let's grab a bunch of people that we work with, people that come to the All Black National Convention, and let's shoot this film for the community where we can begin to lay out a format and a template and a blueprint on how we move forward and make our segment of the community the richest, most powerful segment on the planet. Every Black person don't want to be B1, and that's okay. God bless them. But for those who are looking for something different, who are tired of the nonsense, who want to grow and elevate and create generational power and legacy, this movie's for you. So thank you very much, Rick. It was great to see you, brother.
Thank you. Thanks again.
All right.
Shout out to the people that helped assisted with producing this film, from Raheem Shabazz to Jason Noor to Dr. Janae, Taryn. There's a lot of people that helped to make this project, come to fruition. I definitely want to say thank you, and thanks for being a part of this project.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening. We'll keep you posted. If you want to be notified when the film is available and everything else, all you got to do, just go to boycewatkins.com and you can get on our email list. Also, there's a list of AI stocks that I'm invested in that I think will be great investments for your family as the AI revolution takes off. You don't want to be left behind. You don't want to miss out on the wealth that's going to be created in this industry. It's already starting to show itself. So if you want a list of AI stocks that I like, just go to boycewatkins.com. Also, you can join us this week in Dallas, May 19th. I'm doing a 2-day Black Wealth Summit. So feel free to join us in Dallas. We're going to do 2 days of training and networking around wealth and business development and everything else. So if you're all about that and you want to be in that space, then feel free to join us in Dallas and fly on down. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thumbs up, share. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks a lot, Rick. And you guys have a wonderful day. Take care now. Peace.